Hey, what's up, guys? Back with another stream. This time, I figured we'd check out the fairly new Carenado Beechcraft B1900D twin turboprop. It's a turboprop, pretty sure. I just bought this plane yesterday, $34.95 from Carenado. I bought it because I was looking for a larger seat capacity for FS economy. And also I wanted to get more into commercial aviation, but with prop. And this thing really kind of excited me because, number one, it's the second version that Carenado came out with. It's specifically designed for X-Plane 11, and it's supposed to be optimized for X-Plane 11, which is pretty cool. So I was pretty excited to check it out. And I wanted to, for those of you that fly like me in VR, I know, there's always a question about when you invest in a plane, what it's going to look like in VR, right? Because some things look better than others. And I wanted to give you my thoughts. It's hard, for me to show you visually because you can't be inside my headset, but I wanted to give you my interpretation of what it looks like and how the design is from Carenado. So that's the whole idea today, and to give you, it's basically a VR review, if you will. Now, we'll probably take off here and fly a little bit. I'm not gonna really give you a lot of information about the flight modeling. I'm not a professional pilot. I've flown this plane for probably about 4 hours now, and I can tell you my experience with it as we go along here. But again, it's not coming from a real pilot. I'm just a hobbyist like most of you guys, and I can give you my opinion from that perspective, not from the opinion of a real pilot, obviously. So that's what we're going to do today. Now, I have the headset on, so I can't see chat. So every once in a while, I'll take the headset off and see if there's any questions. But what I want to do is show you inside the cockpit, show you the cabin, and give you a little understanding of what it looks like. So let me take care of one thing first here. Show you that we've got typical Carenado controls. Just want to add a little sound to this because I turned the sound off before. So you got your different views and your sound control, okay? Your overhead panel view. So they've got that functionality. They also have the window reflections. I opened the passenger door, cockpit door is open. That's between the cockpit and the cabin. And you can actually turn on instrument reflections. I like to leave those off. It just looks a little bit better. And then also here you have your autopilot control, which is pretty handy to have. Okay, but your EFIS and your autopilot control, which is nice to have here, instead of me having to bend like this to go make modifications to the autopilot. So that's cool to have. But I use I'm using plane commands, so I can turn autopilot on and off. And what's nice is right in front of you here, you have the whole autopilot control console, which is real easy. It's a great place to put it. Right in front of the pilot while you're flying. Taking off is when you're generally going to use this. So it's real easy access, and you don't have to go reaching around like you do in the King Air to make modifications to this. So it's really well designed. So with that said, let me get up here or show you a little bit about the cockpit itself. So first of all, it's extremely cool. I mean, I know that's a real vague description, but it is very cool. The instrument panel is packed with instruments, very well laid out, very functional, easy to read. I'm going to just get how this is. I'm going to get where this is about how I usually am when I fly the plane. Okay. I could sit here and from this distance, I can pretty much read everything. Smaller lettering is a little bit blurred, but if I lean in like this, I can easily read COM and NAV and MKR beacon and stuff, and I could easily read the GPS. Of course, you can click on the GPS and it'll like this, and it'll come up as well. So that's typical in most X-plane planes. All right, you've got the instruments themselves are three-dimensional. They appear to be installed on the panel, and there's a little bit of relief from the panel to the fronts of the instruments, so it's definitely three-dimensional. All the dials are three-dimensional. The needles on the gauges are three-dimensional. That is, there's space between the needle and the back of the gauge, so that gives you the real 3D effect, as if you were in a real plane when you're in VR. So if I go down here to the switches are very well detailed. They look like metal switches. The little ends of the tips here are kind of white, though. I guess they're trying to go for a reflection look, but they're definitely very legible, and they look like, you know, three-dimensional switches, like you could reach out and touch them. Same with all of the dials for the comms panel, and your throttles and all this stuff. All the switches over there on the console, center console, beautiful, looking beautiful. The fuel tanks right here, again, three-dimensional gauges with three-dimensional switches. The fuse panels all have three-dimensional fuses. And if I go over to this side where the main fuse panel is, these are all three-dimensional as well. And if you can get in here, you can see the routing of the fuses, which is pretty damn cool. Let me get rid of this guy here. Well, you got a clock. That's pretty cool. You got an analog clock there in this yoke. All of these, the radio stack, all of the dials are three-dimensional. You could reach out and touch them. In fact, I'm going to pull my Oculus Touch out here, and we'll just do a sample of what you can and cannot do with an Oculus Touch. So I got my Touch out. You see that there? Okay, and let's just see if I can grab, see if I can flick a switch. I don't want to turn something off that I shouldn't turn off. Let me go up here. I can turn off a cabin light or something. Okay, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. All right, so doesn't seem to be optimized for Oculus Touch in FlyInside. That's a FlyInside thing, but so yeah, so don't expect to use Oculus Touch with this plane, but that's okay. I mean, I rarely use Oculus Touch anyway. I'm mainly using mouse when I do any control inside the cockpit. So, all right, so just to get that out of the way, let me just get myself straightened out here again. Okay, so I just go kind of lean back here and look at this cockpit. You've got your lighting control up top here. All those instruments are three-dimensional. Looks like you could just reach out and touch them. Okay, I'm going to actually turn on the lights here. This is the master panel. If I turn that on now, you can look at the console. Now it's got this bluish green hue to it, and all the instruments are lit up, and there's actually, at nighttime, you actually have to dim this down. It's so bright. But yeah, I mean, if I'm sitting here, right here, it definitely seems like a real cockpit, for sure. The fire pull switches there, or pulls, it feels like you could reach out with your hand and pull them towards you. They're actually T connectors that look like they're extended out about 2 inches from the instrument panel. Now, as far as frame rate goes, I'll show you here. The frame rates are kind of tough. We're at Orlando Airport. This is not a. I don't have a custom scenery here at Orlando, and I'm getting 18 frames per second in X-Plane and 94 frames per second in the headset, which is good in the headset, but the frame rate in X-Plane is not great. And I'll show you my settings real quick here, just so you can see how I have graphics set up, so you can get an idea of how that translates. So HDR is at the second to top on textures, anti-aliasing second to top, medium, world, objects, and reflections off with parking on. Okay, that's how I have my settings. So now this varies. I could tell you, like in Miami, I was getting like in the high 20s frame rate. I've never seen frame rates in this plane above the high 20s, but it's a third-party plane, so you're going to expect that the frame rates are going to be a bit lower. There's a lot more to it, a lot more going on in this plane, and it gets better as you're in the air, because you know on the ground you've got a lot of ground textures that are being drawn and stuff, but it does get better as you're in the air. In any event, so that's the cabin, and again, it really is spectacular. When I first put my headset on, see the compass. The compass actually looks like it's in a ball of fluid, which is pretty damn cool. When I first put my headset on when I bought this plane yesterday, you know, it's always the first, you know, that first look that gives you a feeling of what it's like, and I was like blown away. Comparing it to the King Air is actually pretty good for a stock plane, but this, you know, you could see that it's high definition resolution. I think it's 4K resolution, all of these graphics in this plane. So now this plane came out towards the end of June, and again, as I mentioned before, it's a re-release of the X-Plane 10 plane optimized for X-Plane 11. Now, optimized, I haven't used this plane in 2D mode yet. I'm anxious to check that out. I think John Fly and others have videos of that, but I'd like to see how this thing handles with the 1080 Ti. But in any event, in VR, I would call it acceptable flight, acceptable frame rates. Okay, I know some of you guys are going to say, "Oh, 18 is horrible," but you have to remember that in VR you're doing three things, right? You're doing the Rift, you're doing FlyInside, and you're doing X-Plane. It's a lot of taxing on the CPU and the GPU, and with X-Plane being very CPU intensive, you know, we all know about the issues there. Now I'm running 11.02, expecting some optimization from X-Plane as time goes on, and hopefully that number will go up. And again, as I said, in some of these other airports, I'm actually getting higher frame rates. This one just happens to be one of the lower ones. New York is about the same as this, about 18 to 20 frames per second. So in any event, that's the cockpit. Looks very cool. Now let me stand up here, and I can actually, it's as if I'm standing up in the plane. Okay, and if I can look back here, I can look back in the cabin. There's the Copilot seat right there. Very three-dimensional. Headrest, it looks like it has dents where the buttons are. You got a phone back there to talk to the flight attendants in the back. Not sure what those are. Some sort of emergency things. Maybe they're pumps for the rafts or something. Now, if I look in the back there, I've got the lighting on. There's the 16 seats. Even though in FS Economy it's a 21-seater, it's actually configured as a 16-seat plane. And just move my real chair out of the way so I can actually walk. I don't want to trip over I can walk back here. Walk back here. There's my passenger door is open. You can see the engine spinning right there. Been cranking it up here as we're talking. And looking back there, very spacious cabin, very high cabin, like a lot of headroom, if you will. So that's what the cabin kind of looks like. Here, over here, you've got some drawers. Now I'm not sure if these drawers open or not. I really can't do that in VR. I feel like I can go out and reach out and touch them though, and open them with my hand. But that's the cabin, and it looks as if it looks as if I could just walk right back there, which is pretty damn cool. So now let me do this. I can actually go outside the plane now. And there's the two pilots. They look like exactly alike. Wow, that's awesome, man. The sense that I get is that is real size. Like I'm standing right next to it. If I go down here on the ground, oops. Oops. How does that happen? Where did that happen? I didn't know I could do that, tilt it like that. Anyway, so if I go down here on the ground, I feel like I'm standing on the ground looking at the plane. This is awesome. It's just awesome. Now, this is what it's going to be like when when Laminar Research releases their version of X-Plane. Let me just fix this here. Of VR for X-Plane. I don't want to get too close to that prop. I wish you guys could see this. It looks awesome sitting there. What a cool looking plane. I'm so glad I bought this plane. It's awesome. Yeah, I don't know if you want to board this plane before you start the engines up. That's for sure. That door is very close to that propeller. But anyway, so this is what it looks like from the outside. You can see the very cool looking tail elevator back there, and the foiled wings, if you will. But so that's the Carenado B1900D in VR. The detail on the on the plane itself is amazing. What was it called? The PBR. Unbelievable. It looks so real, like I could reach out and touch it. It's so cool, man. Wow, that's cool. Very cool. All right, so back into the cockpit. Hey, what's up, buddy? He goes away when I go in here. All right, so that's a VR tour of the Carenado. So let me just sit down here and I'll give you my thoughts. I'll see if there's any questions on... get myself situated here. How did I get so... I don't know how I got so misaligned like that. It's weird. It's weird. In any event, I'll give you my thoughts here. So, in VR, I would definitely recommend buying this plane. Now, again, keep in mind that you're going to have some frame issues. Because, like I said, you're going to, in some places, you're going to be 20 or a little below 20 frames per second. Hopefully, and I'm running a 1080 Ti. Hopefully, as oh, I know what's going on here. It's because I got I'm zoomed in. I'm gonna have to reset this so before I can fly it. But in any event, keep in mind that you're gonna have some frame issues. Okay. But that said, you know, for 35 bucks, I think it's totally worth it. Now, this plane comes with checklists, procedures, emergency procedures. It's tons of stuff. So it's modeled so that you can start a cold to dark and really operate it as if it's a real B1900D. Okay. In fact, I have tried to start a cold and dark. I was successful doing it. But something happened. I missed a step, and as I was flying, the plane just shut down. So I must have missed a step, because I tried to do it without the procedures. But in any event, you know, you can get to real life with this plane. And again, I can't say enough about it. I'm really so glad I bought this plane. So with that said, let me see if there's any questions here. All right, how about the sound? Okay, so the sound is pretty good. I mean, it's, you know, it's what I like about it is in some of their planes in VR, the audio is like overwhelming and it's hard to control. But this one has a very controllable audio. I mean, I could lower it very low if I'd like to. It sounds real. The feathering sound when you stop the propeller sounds very cool. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way the sound is. Any possibility of broadcast? So you want me to broadcast in stereoscopic? Yeah, I could do that. I tell you what, let me finish this one, and then if you hang with me, I'll switch over to stereoscopic. But I wanted to Well, actually, let me see if I could just do that now. Give me a second. I wasn't prepared to do it, but if you give me 1 second, I'm gonna have to reset this anyway. So. Set parking brake.
Brakes set.
Okay, let me see if I can show you stereoscopic. Just thinking here I can do that. Let me go to here, menu, show mirror. Okay, back into simulator. Okay, so let me see if I can. Oh, I have to go to settings. I'm gonna have to do a 2-eye mirror. Where's the mirror? Show both eyes. Okay. Include lens distortion. I think I want to do that. Okay. Back to simulator. Okay, so now let me make this huge. And hopefully this will work. Let me see what I can do. I need to... One second. All right, you guys should be able to see that now. Now, eSynergy, can you tell me what that looks like? Does that look realistic? Do you have your headset on? It'd be very cool if you could see that. Let me know if you can see it. All right, well, I'll tell you what, I'm just going to give you a quick look here so you could see. Let me just stand up here. Show you again very quickly. Now we're in VR. Hopefully you can get the same sense of what I can see here. Look down the edge of the board. You can see how everything is reliefed from the board, from the display panel. If I turn around and look back in the cabin, there you go. There's the cabin. You can see the seats definitely have definition. As I said, there's basically a solid description. I can go outside the plane real quick. Oops, crap. I'll just walk over here. It takes a little time to walk over here. It's sort of my way of teleporting. You look down the runway. We're on the runway 18 left at, and there you go. Okay, that's it. Hopefully you can see that in VR, see the same things that I see. It just looks amazing. So real, like it's a life-size plane. Unbelievable, really good job. All right. All right, I'll get back in this plane and take her for a spin. What's up, buddy? Oh, I'm gonna have to reset that. I don't know why all of a sudden I can do this tilting thing. I was never able to do that before. Okay, back in the cabin. And here we go. Let's have a seat. All right. It's getting all discombobulated because I'm moving around. Does that look good, man? Does that look cool? I'm so glad that that looked cool. That's awesome. I tell you what, give me a second here. Set parking brake.
Brakes set.
See what you have to say there, dude. So tell me how it looks. Does it have like real depth of field and easy to see, like the 3-dimension? So just give me a little bit of description, if you would, please. All right, so we'll do 2 takeoffs. I'll do the first takeoff in 2D, and then I'll do the second takeoff in 3D. All right, let's do that. Did I kill that window? I think I did. All right. Yeah, I'm going to do the first one in 2D, and then I'll do the second one in 3D. Okay? Give me 1 second. Okay, cool. I don't understand why I'm all... Oh, there we go. All right, cool. So let me get the lights on. Master switch on. I love having those lights. And... huge depth of field. Awesome. Great. That's what I want to hear. All right, so let's... take off here. I'm going to turn the volume up a little bit so you guys can hear the volume. All right. All right, here we go. The map going here. I'm anxious to see that myself when I rewatch this with my headset. All right, so we're good to go, right? Get the map going. Let me get my camera on. Okay, we'll do 2D and then we'll do 3D. Okay, so here we go. All right. Got my pedals. Rudder pedals work beautifully. We're good to go. Plane is definitely warmed up. We got mixture in, we got prop in, and here we're going to slowly, got the brakes on, and we're going to slowly, there's my propellers good, slowly bring up the throttle. You can see the turbines going up here. It is definitely a turboprop. Bring it up to full power. You can hear the turbos kicking in. Ooh, it sounds good. Hear them? And here we go. Release the brakes. Steering is awesome on this plane. Very easy to steer. Oh, close the door. I had the door open. It closed the door automatically for me. All right. Rotate. Gear up. And that's how we do it. Very nice. You can see the frame rates are not great. Okay, 19. But that's because, like I said, they got the three things going in VR. X-Plane, Fly Inside, and the Oculus Rift, okay? So that's a takeoff in 2D. Let's reset this. Just watch, just look at the handling. Very nice, easy, smooth movements. I'm just barely touching the yoke, pulling back on the yoke. It just feels so natural, like I'm flying a big bird. And the more weight you have in the plane, the heavier it feels. At least that's my sense. When you have, like I have a lot of gas in this plane now, or if you've got a lot of passengers on it, it feels heavier. Like the flight model feels to me like it's a heavy. You're flying something heavier, or you're landing something heavier. Okay, so there you go. So let's let me switch this over now. Do flight configuration, change location. We'll go back to Orlando. Just take a few minutes, and we'll go to set parking brake.
Brakes set.
All right, let me get my... Well, now I'm getting 22 frames per second. See? Different. Here, let's do the mirror now. Get myself situated. Okay, and bring the... This is going to be in... Where's the mirror? Damn it. Why didn't that work? Hold on. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Where's the mirror? Hopefully it's somewhere around here. I don't know where it is. There it is. All right, let me get the mirror up here. Give me 1 second. Window. Okay. All right. Now you're seeing 3D. Okay. So I'm going to take this thing off in 3D. You can see everything I see, and I'm going to try to land this too. Hopefully I can land it. We'll see. Here we go. Rotate. Gear up. Actually, let's leave the gear down because we're going to try to spin around and land this puppy. Can we land over there? All right. Set heading bug to 175.
Heading bug set to 174 degrees.
All right, so now we know. Let's see if we can reference this. Turn around. Let's keep the flaps down 1, so we're just kind of flying slow here. Looking cool in VR, baby. So for those of you that don't have headsets, I'm sorry. maybe it'll coax you to get one. But I wanted to do this for those that do, because after all, it is a VR review, and hopefully this will help people get a sense for what things look like. I'm looking up at that panel so you can see what that looks like. Very three-dimensional. Looking out the window, you can definitely feel like we're 1,800 feet in the air. And I'm going to try to turn around here and not going too fast, so we'll see if we can land it back at Orlando. Let me get the lights on. I love those lights. Gears down, so we don't have to worry about that. Where's the field? We're going to have to turn a little bit further to get the field. Get my rudder helping out here. All right, can we do it, you think? Not sure. Runway's over there. It'll be tough. We'll see. Where's my runway? Right there. Yeah, let's try it. We'll try it. Not the optimum way that I would want to land this plane. I would want to be on a much shallower glide slope, if you will. But I'll give it a try here. Because I want to see what this looks like on the YouTube video with stereoscopic, as they say. All right, we're doing okay here. Flaps are full. Gear is down. We're at 1,000 feet. We've got going a little fast. Might be a rough one, but again, not the way I'd want to land. $500. I love this plane. I absolutely love this plane. So my two favorite planes now are the SR-20, the V-Flight Air SR-20, and this plane. I love this plane. Oh, this is actually going to be pretty good. All right, not bad. Butter the bread, baby. Come on. Flare it out. Down on the throttle. Float it down. Flare, throttle, flare, throttle, back feet. A little bumpy, but all right. Rudders. Gear up. Flaps up. Back on the prop. Slow things down. Use the brakes a little bit. All right, let's taxi her out of here. All right, cool. So that is the Carenado Beechcraft B1900D, optimized for X-Plane 11. Highly recommend it in VR. You're going to need a pretty hefty card and CPU for it, though. I'll tell you that. I'm running a i6700 with a 1080 Ti, EVGA 1080 Ti Superclock 2. So you're going to need a pretty hefty combination to run it. But if you have it, I would definitely recommend checking it out. Handles very well on the ground too. Man, I feel like I'm in the plane. It's freaking awesome. I waited so long for this, to be able to fly a plane like this. Help if I didn't have the brake on. Since back in the days in the 80s when I used to play Sublogic on Apple IIs and Macintoshes, and only dreamed of being able to do something like this. This was like a dream. It's like cell phones were a dream. Well, not a dream anymore, man. All right, cool. Let's park it right here. And let's shut her down. Hear the feathering? And that's that. That's the Carenado Beechcraft B1900D. Let me go back to 2D. Okay, so back in 2D. Hope you guys like that. Again, I would highly recommend this plane for VR, provided you have the horsepower to run it. You're going to probably need at least a 1070 to be able to effectively fly this plane. And an i67, a 4-core CPU that's about 4 gigahertz or better. So that you're going to definitely need that kind of horsepower. All right, guys. So just wanted to give you a quick look. Hit the like button if you like what you saw today. Don't forget to subscribe to Bambino Games for more X-Plane 11 in VR. Have a great day and fly safe, guys.